Fancy retraining as a wheelchair rugby league referee.
Well,
They don't have to do as much running, do they? So
it's interesting you say that because somebody's already contacted me and said, do you fancy giving it a go? And I thought, well, I've just finished refereeing. I don't think that will pass muster.
I'll tell you what, that 2,300 people in the Leeds Arena booing David Butler yesterday, that was...
Yeah, I thought that was pretty gentle, to be fair, wasn't it? I was waiting for the chance to go around and things to be thrown. Given that elevation, you had quite a good vantage point, needed to start hauling things through the air at the officials. Not that I'm suggesting that should happen. I mean, I don't imagine most people would know why they were booing, really, because...
Having spoken to him this morning, it has been reviewed, and the only thing that is potentially contentious was whether it was a forward pass or not.
So hang on, the referees made less mistakes than the players.
Apparently correctly given.
Yeah, there appeared to be a missed penalty, which went in England's favour when they were saying on the TV, and I didn't know anything about this, but when they had the tag removed, they have to now re-tag prior to basically playing the ball, and I think that's a new international or a new law that's sort of come in, and just it was sort of catching one or two of the players out as they attempted to re-tag. The tag didn't stick and it fell off.
Well, this is the other controversy, that France were apparently using stickier Velcro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone was saying their Velcro was sticky.
Conspiracy.
I know, this is great.
And the tags were dark, so they should be contrasting to their kit. But
as Phil Roberts pointed out, because I mentioned this in a jokey fashion, because the possibility, says Phil, who should know these things. He's won a World Cup. The possibility is that England players were deliberately delaying removing the tag to control the ruck.
Exactly.
Sean Wayne, France anticipated this and used it to create a lot of offloads in second phase, especially in the first half.
100% is what the word was coming back.
Oh, really? They just looked to lose their composure a little bit in the game. They got frustrated, didn't they?
They didn't start off with the sufficient intensity to stop the French offload. And once they'd gone behind, it was almost like we're always playing catch-up.
Yeah, they couldn't stem the tide. It wouldn't really.
Jack Brown made a huge difference when he came on, but he was still suffering from jet lag, having only just flown in from Queensland. So the plan was always to just play him for a half. And you could see that...
it was a great contest, though. I really, really enjoyed it.
And they won the second half, and it got to, again, 2 minutes from time before you knew who was going to win.
Absolutely.
Which is what you want.
Andy thinks the difference between the two teams was the French ability to manoeuvre the chair and their body in a way that made it incredibly difficult for the smaller, lighter England players to get to their tags, allowing them to keep the ball alive with an offload. England's attacking game is built around the speed of lighter, smaller players like Jack Brown, Nathan Collins and Rob Hawkins, but it has its drawbacks against bigger opponents. Now we're all analysing it now. We're all analysing it. Tom Coyd, we're all coming for your job now. So that's it. It's great that we have this analytical thing about something that we didn't know much about before. Now we can watch and we understand what's going on.
There was a point made in commentary though about the physicality of the sport, but what people don't probably talk about quite as much is the skill, and there's a high level of skill involved. The ability to wheel that wheelchair as quickly as they do, whilst trying to catch or pass. Or even trying to evade being tackled by the swerving in the seat, which is no good for people on the podcast. I'm now swerving in my seat. But trying to avoid by lifting your arm the tag from being removed. There's all sorts of little sort of tactics at play.
Watching them warm up, where they're virtually individually doing slaloms in the chair at a ridiculous speed. To control a wheelchair like that is just... and again, it raises this philosophical argument about... How many disabled people or permanent wheelchair users do you have in the team? Or is it just your ability to control the wheelchair? Because that's the piece of sport and equipment. It's at that really interesting point, the sport, where the philosophy of what it is against the spectacle that it has become. It's difficult to marry the two. The French made a commitment afterwards that every test match they're going to play from now on will have one permanent wheelchair user as part of their 5 on the pitch at any one time. And even when Vargas was withdrawn, another permanent wheelchair user went on. And that's the way they want to play it. And I think there will be some rule amendments to bring nations closer together.
There's merit in that. Ultimately, it was probably born out of that. And when you listen to the stories on the Storyville documentary, there's some pretty tragic stories there, and people that physically couldn't play the running game, and therefore there's an alternative. So, and I get that it's inclusive, you can be male, female, or able-bodied or otherwise, but I think if you're not careful, it may become where people who have a permanent disability are almost excluded from it because of their physical limitations, and that's surely against the spirit of the sport.
France did that yesterday and won. But I think what we're looking at is a division between the elite level of the sport, which has certain requirements, and the community level of the sport, which is open to anyone and everyone. And is that any different in any other sport? You know, most people cannot play top elite level sport, whether it's tennis like Andy Murray or, you know, it is by its nature exclusive because of your ability to play it.
Yeah, stick me in a wheelchair, I'm not going to be any good for the... like James Simpson said, he wouldn't pick me.
No, he did say that.
It's supposed to be inclusive now.
No,
It's on video.
I think he looked at you and said it's inclusive, but not for people that have any
Not for
talent.
people who are rubbish.
No. But I think it what was great yesterday was it maintained that tradition of rivalry as well. So already we're talking about, I can't wait for Marseille on the 25th of November when we wondered why the trophy was presented yesterday. Great for the television to always have a trophy presentation, but they're playing each other again in 3 weeks. Should it have been over the aggregate of the two? And the reply we were given is it's a trophy that is played for in perpetuity. So whenever these two nations meet, those two people who founded the sport should be commemorated. So France may only hold this for 3 weeks if England can win in Marseille. But that makes sense when you think about it.